Okay. So what we're doing is we're distributing, what was it, 12 pieces of candy to 4 kids, 2 of which are twins. And they have to get equal numbers of candy. Right? Okay, so the example I just put down was, let's say that in actuality we give 3 plus 3 to the twins.
Okay.
Okay, that leaves 6 pieces to go to 2 other kids.
Okay.
Right? Now, just without any of this fancy N choose K stuff, we could say, how many ways are there to distribute 6 pieces of candy to 2 kids? The number of ways to do that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay.
And the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that I'm counting in my hands are, well, one way to think about it is like this. These are my 6 pieces of candy, right? Where can I divide them into 2 piles? I can do it here, I can do it here, I can do it here, 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 or here.
Okay.
Right? Like if in actuality I divided it into 2 piles at this stage, then 4 candies would go to one of the kids and 2 candies would go to the other kid.
Okay.
Right? I could give no candies to one kid and 6 candies to the other kid. I can give 1 candy and 5, 2 candies and 4, all the way up to 6 candies and 0.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like, just if I have 6 pieces of candy and I'm going to give it to 2 kids, how many ways can I do that? I can give 0 to the first kid, 1 to the first kid, 2 to the first kid, all the way up to 6.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. The point is that for each of these numbers, and when I say these numbers, I mean all the possibilities for giving candies to the twins.
Mm-hmm.
So here, I'm going to go back to that. What are the possibilities for giving candies to the twins? 0 plus 0, right? 1 plus 1, 2 plus 2. Right?
Mm-hmm.
These are all the ways I can give candy to the twins.
Okay.
Agreed?
Yes.
Okay. In the event that I give no candies to the twins, how many candies do I have left to distribute to 2 kids?
0.
No, I give no candy to the twins.
You have 12 pieces of candy.
12 pieces of candy. I've got to split 12 pieces of candy.
Which is a lot of options.
But just to split it up between 2 people, how many options are there?
12 choose 2?
Not 12 choose 2. It's 12 choose 1, actually. That was the mistake that we made. Because, and it's actually not 12 choose 1, it's actually 13 choose 1. Just forget about all this fancy stuff we're learning.
Okay.
What if I said, okay, you have to give 12 pieces of candy to 2 people. What are the possibilities?
Give 12 pieces of candy to 2 people.
Right. What are the possibilities? What's the list?
You could give 12 to one and 0 to the other. You could go to 11 to one and 1 to the other.
Right.
You could give 10 to one and 2 to the other. You could give
and so on
And so forth.
All the way down to 0.
Yes.
How many are there in that list that you just said?
A lot.
12 down to 0?
12.
Be careful. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 13, right. Okay, so in the event that I give no candy to the twins, I've got 12 pieces left. Right? And that means these 12 pieces can go 0, 12, 1, 11, 2, 10, all the way down to 12, 0.
Okay.
Right? And put all that together, and what do you get? 13.
Okay.
All of that corresponded to this situation of there being 0 plus 0.
Okay.
Okay? Now, what's the analogous situation for 1 plus 1? Well, now I've got 10 pieces left.
Okay.
Agreed?
Yes.
10 pieces have to go, 10 pieces can be distributed 0, 10, 1, 9, all the way down to 10, 0.
9, 1, 10, 0.
Okay. How many numbers are there in this list? 11. Agree?
10 through 0.
Right. So now this whole bit contributes 11. Okay? I'm not going to go through the details because hopefully the pattern is evident. But if I give
9.
2 and 2, right, it's going to be 9 and then 7, all the way down to
5. 7. 5.
Be careful.
7.
So if you want to touch the screen, actually that helps a lot because whenever you're talking, it helps to point
it
to what you're talking about.
Okay.
So, but if you touch the screen, just touch this thing first.
Okay.
Okay. So were you going to point at something?
This is 13.
Right.
11. And then this one's 9, and this is 7.
All the way
So
down
this would be
to
5, 3, 1.
Right. And I'm just going to, for the sake of practice, I'm going to write that down using summation notation. So 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus, actually, you know what? I'm going to see if you can write that down. I want to write that as summation of something. How would I abbreviate this using summation notation?
Would you say 13
Be
up
careful.
here?
13 up. Now, I want to jump up by 2 every time.
Oh. So do we put the 2 at the bottom here?
So let me just, I'll just show you the answer because lots of times these sorts of things, you kind of have to just see it done a few times. So let's try k equals 1 to 7.
Okay.
And the summation is going to be 2k minus 1.
Okay. 2 times 1 minus. Oh,
okay. So let's go through and recreate this sum according to the instructions.
This doesn't make sense, though.
What doesn't make sense?
Because this 2k minus 1, let's say if it was, that be, would this, is that counted as is this one counted as the first number?
Yes.
But then that would work, because since k is equal to 1, so it'd be 2 times 1 minus 1. Oh, it would work. Okay.
Okay, so now you
that'd
see
be like,
why I did it like this, right?
yes.
Okay. So you see what I mean, though? Like,
Yes.
you kind of just have to see me do it, and then you're like, oh, I get it.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway, going through and tallying up the answers, you just did it for k equals 1.
Okay.
Right? And then we write a plus. And then for k equals 2, we do this 2 times 2 minus 1. 4 minus 1. Now we write a plus, and there's a 3.
Here, I'll do it.
right? Okay. I mean, I don't. At this point, I think you get it,
Yeah.
right? What's the next one? The next one's a 5. Now,
5, 7,
what the really
9.
the thing we do have to kind of make sure is that, maybe this is a 6, maybe it's a 7. We really have to check that 2 times 7 minus 1.
It's a 13.
Really does turn out to be 13.
Yes, it does.
And I'll show this to you in another way. Let's say that I told you this was not the summation notation. Instead, the summation notation was k equals something to something, but now I'm writing 2k plus 1. So my question is, what goes here and what goes there if we're doing 2k plus 1? Because we know odd integers, they look like this or they look like this. It's sort of a matter of taste, which one you prefer, right? Each one of these are equally odd, right?
Yes. You'd have to start from 0 for this one.
Right, and where do you end?
At 6.
Perfect, okay. So, little brief interlude lesson into summation notation. Okay, but oh, and then the last thing, how do you add this up? What's the answer?
You would go. So you'd press the pen. With the pen. So you basically go 2k plus 1, and then you'd be like 2 times 0.
No, I mean, how do you add it up? Like, what's the number? I did like now we're zooming out of the summation
it'll be
notation.
like the same as this, though.
Right. I just want to know, like, what's the trick for adding this up as a number?
I guess you can find ones that to add up to 10.
So, I would say
Just kind of add them.
the best way to think about this is I'll do a smaller example. What if I'm adding 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7?
Okay.
Instead of adding 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7, I could add 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4.
Yeah.
Where did I get 4 from? This is the average
So basically,
times 4.
these two add to 4, so these two make this.
No. So we're thinking about it like this.
And
So
then these two add to 12,
whoops.
and 12.
Here, I'm going to interrupt you.
Okay.
What we're really doing, or what I'm doing in my head, is 1 and 7 join forces to make 8.
Oh, okay.
3 and 5 join forces to make 8.
Oh.
Right? But where do I get the number 4 from?
You add them
the
at
average is going to
It's gonna
be 1 plus 7 over 2.
divided by
Not 16, but 8.
yeah, it's gonna be 16 divided by 4.
3 plus 5 over 2 is 4. Now, if I have an average of 4, and I have 4 numbers, what's the total?
16.
16. So now let's go back to this situation. What's the average?
The average is 14.
Not 14. You can't tell me the average of the numbers in this list is 14.
No.
Not a single number is bigger than 14. It's not 14, it's 14 over 2.
Oh.
Right?
So,
So
7.
1 plus 13 over 2.
7.
The average is 7. How many numbers are there on the list?
There's 1 here.
So you don't have to count, right? We already did it.
Yeah.
The summation, right, the summation tells you there's 7.
So 7
Right?
7.
So the sum, here's the end formula of this video. That
You need to write it big.
sum is equal to the average times the number of numbers.
Right.
Okay? So remember that. Most people think of this formula as like the average equals the sum divided by the number of numbers. And of course, it's exactly the same thing.
Oh.
But it's easier to remember. It's easier to, I don't know if it's easier to remember, but it's more useful to remember this version just because everybody remembers this version, right? So like, and this one helps you when the sum is the mystery value.
They both help you when the sum is the mystery value.
Well, yeah, because anybody can do a little bit of algebra, right?
Or almost anybody.
But if you use the equation up here, this is an equation that says, okay, maybe we're looking for the sum, maybe we're looking for the average, maybe we're looking for the number. The recipe on the bottom sort of is biased towards, let's find the average, because that's the only possible thing that could be missing. I wouldn't cross it out. I'm just, everybody seems to think that like this is the average formula, and I like this one.
Formula.
Hmm.
This is kind of.
Well, here's another. I'm gonna compare this to something, and that is, how about distance equals what?
Speed divided by time.
No. Now you're that's interesting. Distance equals speed
times
time, right?
Oh, I'm used to speed is equal to distance.
I know. So speed, this is exactly the same thing. Equals distance over time, right? Think about what is the speed at which a sum is accumulating. The speed is the average.
Okay.
Right? And so let's think about like what, let's say you make on average $5 a week.
Okay.
You might make 1 week, you might make $30, then you might go 3 months without making any money.
Oh, yeah.
And then you might make $5. The point is,
$6 and you make $4.
On average, every week you're making $5, just like if your speed is 5 miles an hour, on average, every hour you're making 5 miles.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like you're earning miles at a certain rate, where we're instead of traveling, we're using the word earning to make it compatible with this equation. But that is these equations are exactly the same equation. They're just written out with different underlying poetry. And by that I mean, okay, this equation is thought of relating traveling and we're accumulating miles at a certain speed, right?
And it takes time to make that.
Right. And then for this sum, think of it as like maybe we're earning money at a certain average rate, and then this is like the number of weeks or the number of numbers. Okay. So that was kind of off track, but this is important.
Okay.
Remember this.